everybody, it's Matt from Royal Caribbean Blog, and today we're going to be talking about things Royal Caribbean pros never do, and you shouldn't either, up next. I thought it'd be fun to share some pitfalls that so many Royal Caribbean fans avoid, so that way you can learn from them and help make your Royal Caribbean cruise way better. And if you're already a Royal Caribbean pro, be sure to let us know in the comments what are a few things you never ever do, and you can help our viewers and followers as well. The first thing Royal Caribbean pros do is never fly into their cruise the day of their sailing. If you're flying into your port, always arrive at least the day before the cruise. Consider the day of the cruise, boarding usually starts around, maybe 11 a.m. or so and lasts about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. Factoring in wait times, picking up luggage, and transportation to the port, it doesn't take much of a delay to cause you to miss your cruise entirely if you're flying in. Meanwhile, things like weather delays, computer shutdowns, and mechanical issues are delaying more and more flights these days. So flying into your ports the day before gives you plenty of time should any kind of travel delay occur, and it also helps start your vacation a little bit earlier, which, hey, who doesn't want to start the vacation a little sooner, right? The next thing Royal Caribbean pros never do is arrive to the cruise terminal at the time they're given for check-in. So when you check into your Royal Caribbean cruise online, you're going to be given a check-in time. It'll go somewhere between, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. in the afternoon. But these check-in times, these boarding times, are suggestions and not enforced at all. In fact, you can and should show up even earlier than whatever time Royal Caribbean gives you. Now, if you're wondering what constitutes early, we're talking about sometime between 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. The earlier you arrive on embarkation day, the earlier you will board the ship. And the price paid for the cruise is the same whether you get on board at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m., so you may as well get the most time possible and show up a little bit earlier. One big thing Royal Caribbean pros never do is assume the price listed is the final price. Whether we're talking about cruise fare, drink package prices, internet packages, there's always an opportunity to save money. Royal Caribbean pros know, number one, what they will do is book as early as they can and then reprice. By being able to take advantage of time, they'll see there are trends in pricing. And over the months leading up to their cruise, there's oftentimes opportunities to take advantage of sales, price drops, etc. So a pro would tell you, don't assume when you book your cruise, when you book your drink package, when you book your shore excursion, that the price you see there is the final price written in stone. Far from it. There's always opportunities to look for sales, and by booking early, you can find these sales and then inevitably in the long-term game, get the lowest possible price. Royal Caribbean pros also never limit themselves to ship-sponsored excursions. It's a fairly common misconception among new cruisers that the time spent in port is limited to the shore tours that Royal Caribbean advertises. This isn't the case. You're a free agent in port, and if you're craving a little independence or looking to experience something locally that's simply not offered by Royal Caribbean, feel free to go it alone. You can save some money in the process too, since excursions booked through cruise companies tend to be more expensive than ones you book independently. Depending on your comfort level and degree of travel autonomy, plan ahead and research reputable independent local tour operators for either group or private tours, or simply design your own itinerary and go it alone. Now, there are some caveats to this. Number one, excursions booked through the cruise line do come with certain guarantees and protections, which is why they cost more. Mainly, they vetted the cruise tour operators in advance, and the ship crew works with these operators in case any hiccups occur. If you're on your own, it's your responsibility to make it back to the port in time for the ship's scheduled embarkation. So, unlike ship-sponsored tours, the ship won't wait around if you're held up while venturing off on your own. So it's really important to manage your time and give yourself lots of time to get back to the ship to avoid that altogether. The next thing Royal Caribbean pros never do is worry about getting seasick. If there's one thing many first-time cruisers ask a lot of questions about, it's getting seasick on a cruise. But let's be clear. Going on a Royal Caribbean cruise is nothing like going out in your buddy's fishing boat. Royal Caribbean ships are massive vessels equipped with precise GPS and stabilizing technology. Moreover, the captain will regularly plot courses that take optimal routes for guest comfort. There are certain steps you can take to mitigate the risk of getting seasick, such as over-the-counter medications and some of the available homeopathic treatments. But the bottom line is, while yes, you could get sick on a cruise, there's a very low risk, and Royal Caribbean pros know that in the grand scheme of things you should be concerned about or worrying about before a cruise, getting seasick is not near the top of that list. And the last thing Royal Caribbean pros never do is show up to an activity or an event at the time listed. Royal Caribbean pros know you got to get there a little bit earlier, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 15 or 20 minutes before the listed time. By arriving just a little bit earlier to these events, you can oftentimes beat the lines that may develop later on. So whether it's North Star or the Flow Rider or any of the water slides, Whenever you see times listed in the cruise compass, Royal Caribbean pros know not to show up during those times, but to show up a little bit before that to help beat the line, and it's a great strategy for getting in, experiencing these wonderful shows, activities, and events with a minimal wait involved. All right, so there's a bunch of stuff Royal Caribbean pros never do, and I hope that it helps you as you're planning your cruise. Let us know in the comments what are some things you never do as a Royal Caribbean pro, or even questions you might have about your upcoming cruise. Thanks for watching. This is Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.